Day one of a multi-day release on what happened with big tech, Twitter specifically, and Elon Musk is, oh my god, he is definitely putting himself in the crosshairs of a bunch of powerful people, and well, I'm just glad that we're here to see it. So, without further ado, Elon Musk unveils Twitter censorship machine in 2020. Strap in, this is quite an intense read. Twitter's new owner, Elon Musk, and independent journalist Matt Taibbi on Friday unveiled what drove former Twitter executives to suppress a New York Post Hunter Biden laptop story in the weeks leading up to the 2020 election, dubbed the Twitter Files. Taibbi produced his reporting in a thread on his Twitter account, which said is based on the thousands of internal documents obtained by sources from social media platforms. Oh, if you don't know who Matt Taibbi is, he's one of the very, very, very few good independent journalists that are out there, okay? I believe he has a fairly extensive resume. He's cut from the same cloth as the likes of the guys like Glenn Greenwald. It's, yeah, like I said, it's a very, very small list, okay? So it also says a lot as to independent thoughts and ideas that Elon Musk, instead of going to an outlet, he goes directly to one of the preeminent independent journalists. That's a little statement in and of itself, but we got more than enough stuff to talk about, so need not get hung up on anything. The tweets contained communications amongst Twitter employees as they grapple with how to excuse their decision to censor the Hunter Biden report. Musk, who has championed the transparency of the company he took over in October, retweeted Taibbi's thread and questioned whether some of the revelations indicated potential violations of the First Amendment. It sure would seem that way, wouldn't it? Taibbi said the Twitter Files tell an incredible story about how one of the world's largest and most influential social media platforms used its powerful tools to delete tweets at the request of connected actors. This is where the First Amendment argument comes in, because everybody's first day on the internet, and it's like, I'm being suppressed, my free speech on the platforms. And then you get your boilerplate responses, okay, this is my private company though. And then you figure out who's making the rules on the private company, and then you start to realize that, oh, it actually just does circle back around to the government, where First Amendment practices do apply in this such situation. The tools Twitter employees used for controlling speech were originally designed to combat spam and financial fraudsters, which it seems to be returning to at this point, but this is definitely under the old regime. This is under even the older, outside of the, the chubby Indian dude who was running it in the interim between Jack Dorsey and Elon Musk. So this was under Jack, okay? Don't know how much he knew, but if it wasn't for him pulling the strings, it would have been his little underling, Vijay Gaja. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Let's see, I'll try that again. Oh, super unemployed lawyer. Oh well, because she was the head of the curation team or something like that. Safety, trust and she was chief censor, okay? Chief censor. But over time, the staff began to find more and more uses for the tools. Soon, at a growing rate, outsiders began petitioning the company to manipulate speech. Okay, cool. Yeah, like this has been theorized for a very long time, so quite interesting. Twitter's censorship system was well established by 2020, an election year, and while both sides of the United States politics had access, interesting, the political bias in the majority of the platform's employees meant Democrats had more avenues to complain about tweets, according to Taibbi. Yeah, because I've seen a couple of the tweets. I think it's number 10 where it said that, yeah, both sides contacted, and it's like, yeah, but what messages were ultimately censored? Like, you just compare and contrast, even back in 2016, okay? Who didn't hear about the grab 'em by the pussy tape, okay? That was fucking everywhere. Hunter Biden's laptop, on the other hand, unless you were on the internet, okay, doing your own independent journalism, you didn't hear word fucking one about that. Interesting. Same scandalous nature, okay? I can't put them both on the same level because that would be ridiculous. But definitely, if you compare and contrast those two situations, unequal coverage that's out there. Like, you have zero and all of the coverage. For instance, in 2020, requests from both the Trump White House and the Biden campaign were received and honored. That's the one that I was talking about. That's number 10 if we get to that one. However, he added, the system wasn't balanced. It was based on contacts because Twitter was and is overwhelmingly staffed by people of one political orientation. I wonder. There were more channels, more ways to complain, open to the left, well, Democrats, than the right. Throughout his thread, Taibbi shared screenshots of emails and communications between and with Twitter executives that provided a glimpse into how the system worked to censor Hunter Biden's laptop story from the New York Post. Okay, one email dated October 24th, 2020, appears to show a Twitter executive sharing a list of 5 tweets allegedly identified by people from the campaign of then candidate Joe Biden, a Democrat. I didn't know Joe Biden did that. What? Anyways, by 2020, requests from connected actors to delete tweets were routine. One executive would write to another, more to review from the Biden team. The reply would come back, handled. Interesting. Very interesting. There's one of the screenshots that are there. Here's, from a bunch of... Guy Squigs, JSJX_2, I guess those guys, big shout out to them, but those don't necessarily look like big accounts, especially when you have that many numbers at the end of it. What the fuck, is that your phone number, my guy? Come on. These aren't exactly high profile conversations, and who even fucking knows what they were saying, Joe Biden's a pedophile. Oh my god, we need to get that off of there because it's true. In order to suppress the Hunter Biden report, Twitter executives marked it as unsafe, limiting its spread, even blocking it from being directly shared via the platform's direct message function. Taibbi noted that such extreme restrictions were reserved for such content as child pornography. Wait a minute. You had all of those tools in place for something that is illegal to begin with, something that should be completely destroyed from the platform. That's also a little bit of... That's interesting, to say the least. Maybe illegal because you're allowing the dissemination and spread of child pornography because, we can just, suppress it and limit the spread of it. No, just get rid of that shit. It's fucking illegal, okay? Just take it off the platform and then have it sent to the FBI. They can fucking deal with it. For sharing the report, then White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, I miss her, was locked out of the account, especially given the eye candy that we get to look at during the Biden administration. Just saying, not simping, just saying that, if you got to take a look at, White House press briefings every day, would you prefer an 8 or would you prefer gay black lady? But yes, off the back of her banning, I didn't mean that, prompting a stern email from the Trump campaign staffer Mike Hahn and Caroline Strom, who was Twitter's public policy executive. Hahn demanded to know why McEnany's account would be unlocked and why no one at Twitter informed him the company would be censoring news articles. Yeah, that seems something that's just a little bit sus, and especially this isn't coming from the New York Post or anything like that. This is the New York Post. If not the first biggest, by viewership, by numbers, by eyeballs that they get, okay? It's the first or second is between them and the Times, okay? It's the New York Post, after all, okay? They're sharing a mainstream article. That seems to hold a little bit more weight than just somebody's blog, but because you did that, then your account gets suspended. And then you don't get provided a reason why. It's interesting. This seems like a real blast from the past, right? Because we were talking about this stuff way back in the cut, and we knew it was funny back then. But now to provide, the receipts, kind of seems like our deductive reasoning skills were proved to be 1,000% correct. Like I said, at least pretend to care for the next 20 days, he wrote. Interesting. That was apparently what... Yeah, the response I got is when's she going to be getting her account back? And it's nah, just wait until after the election. It'll be good. Taibbi reported that the decision to censor the report came from the highest levels of Twitter, but without the knowledge of then CEO Jack Dorsey. Gotcha. Oh shit, she's right there. I didn't even know that. Okay, who's the head of legal and policy and trust at the company, played a key role according to Taibbi. Good. So glad she's gone. They just freelanced it. Is how one former employee characterized the decision, Taibbi wrote. Messages between executives and Twitter's communications and policy departments shared by Taibbi in screenshots show a certain amount of confusion. With the communications executive writing, I'm struggling to understand the policy basis for marking this as unsafe. He's shut up. It's a danger to our democracy. Taibbi reported that one former employee he spoke with said at this point, everyone knew this was bullshit. Stupid, fucking retarded, something like that. But the executives decided to err on the side of continuing to err. My guy. Yoel Roth. Abdul acquire many rocks to deal with him, who became the head of trust and safety for a minute, and it said the policy basis for censoring the Hunter Biden laptop story was hacked materials. Okay, cool. Who provided that reason? Okay, because that was discovered to be bullshit at the time and then publicly acknowledged earlier this year. This year, huh? The honesty of the excuse was questioned by Brandon Borman, the former vice president of global communications. Can we truthfully claim that this is part of the policy? He asked in a message. In a message, former Twitter Deputy General Counsel Jim Baker acknowledges that some of the report appeared to be sourced from an abandoned computer. Oh, there's the picture. That's the Mac shop. That place is famous. But he advised caution because they were unsure if some of it was a result of hacked material. Yeah, we know it came from a computer, but there was a password on there, so might be hacked material. I don't know. We don't want to run afoul of our own policy. We could check it, or we could just censor the entire story. Your choice. Just get rid of the story. Interesting name to see pop up here. Representative Ro Khanna contacted Gaji on October 14th, 2020 to let her know their decision to censor the story and lock McEnany out of her account was generating a huge backlash in Washington, D.C. I think that's about the last time we talked about Ro Khanna. He's been politically mothballed, especially by Nancy Pelosi's Democrat-led House, okay? Because he was saying some funny shit. It might have been specifically about this issue where we're like, wow, somebody's actually got a, conscience over on that side. Interesting. Gaji came back to Khanna. God, this sounds like conversation. It's narrating a conversation in a fucking tech support line break room. Gaji said to Khanna, citing the company's hacked materials policy. Oh, so she came up with it. Very interesting. Prompting Khanna to explicitly clarify that his concerns were related to the First Amendment implications of Twitter's decisions. But this seems a violation of the First Amendment principles, Khanna wrote, based Ro Khanna, noting that in the left-wing New York Times were to publish an expose of a serious war crime, he would support the right to do so. Yeah, but it's like, this involves Ukraine and China and, like the hookers and stuff. Don't worry about it. But in the heat of the presidential campaign, restricting dissemination of newspaper articles, even if the New York Post is far right, he didn't pause at that. He said, even if it is, I think they kind of got squirrely takes. I wouldn't put them anywhere. If I was to place them on a political spectrum, leaning right. That'd be about it. That'd be about as far as I could go. Seems like it will invite more backlash than it will do good. Ro Khanna knew. While Khanna expressed concerns about the First Amendment implications of suppressing the report, Taibbi reported that the poll conducted by NetChoice that indicates other Democrats supported the move. Oh yeah. After Taibbi published his report, Khanna reportedly said in a statement that the American Constitution and the First Amendment are sacred, and he felt Twitter's actions violated that, so I raised those concerns. The first installment of Taibbi's reporting exposed the censorship system that enabled Twitter executives, who are mostly Democrat-aligned, to censor a controversial story about the son of the 2020 Democratic presidential candidate. Taibbi, who usually writes for subscribers on Substack, he was one of the first. He's not like one of these, mass laid-off journalists. I got a Substack. He's pretty based. I'm pretty sure it's a fairly large following. Anyways, presented his report on a series of live tweets on Twitter, with new paragraphs published one after another over a period of time on Friday evening. He knows that there is much more to come and promised answers to burning questions many figures, usually conservatives, have raised about issues like shadow banning, boosting, follower accounts, and the fate of various individual accounts, and more. Musk said the second episode would be releasing sometime today, but at the time of recording, I don't know. I haven't seen anything about it yet, okay? Like it says, tune in for episode 2 on the Twitter Files tomorrow. I'll probably be recapping this tomorrow, okay? So you guys will see that one, but I also got some follow-up on some stuff that's coming out because everything that was coming out today was exclusively about Hunter Biden. So I'll have one of those coming out tomorrow on Hunter Biden and the fallout of that. And then, Twitter Files Chapter 2 leading into 3. So I don't even know. I don't even know what's going to be going on there, but Musk says Twitter suppressed free speech under orders from the government. See if we can fill in some gaps here on this one. Elon Musk suggesting that Twitter is acting under government orders to suppress free speech, with his remarks coming hot on the heels of the release of the trove of documents that lift the lid on some of social media platforms' censorship machinations around the 2020 election. Twitter acting by itself to suppress free speech is not a First Amendment violation, but acting under orders of the government to suppress free speech is with no judicial review is. Yes, that is the letter of the law. People can scream from the fucking rooftops that my free speech rights are being suppressed. Under the normal circumstances, it's like, no, you can't post your tits out on fucking Instagram, and they have every right to take down that photograph, okay? You violated the nudity policy. Now just, find some simps elsewhere, okay? That's totally within their purview to do. But if the government doesn't want you to have a totally legal and lawful post that's out there, if it comes at the behest of the government, then we got problems. And then at least we have avenues of course correction on this one. After earlier teasing of imminent disclosure of Twitter's internal files from the company's free speech suppression, Musk on Friday shared a thread from independent journalist Matt Taibbi, who went over all that stuff. One of his posts, Taibbi shared a screen grab of an internal email dated. We already talked about that one. Musk replied to Taibbi's tweet with the word handled, followed by 3 fire emojis. He later responded to his own post on the situation. If this isn't a violation of the Constitution's First Amendment, what is? No, it is. You got it right. Twitter account, the Hodge twins. Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you know, you know. And if you don't, they're a pair of brothers, literally and metaphorically, that opine on conservative issues, as well as fitness. I do believe that's the way that they started on YouTube. But yeah, they've been going off ever since Elon Musk, or at least I've seen their Twitter account on the feed multiple times. It's out there. So yeah, it looks like they reacted to the tweet. It 100% is collusion between government and big tech to violate the First Amendment. Yeah, good thing that there's a lawsuit right now going through the House that's snatching up everybody right now. Federal government. Federal court system right now. Because it got filed by 2 attorney generals and a couple of other people. That one's more in the context of the COOF. I don't know if we're ever going to get around to that during the Twitter files. Nice naming convention. Just continue to try to go to Mars and just get somebody else on, naming Elon Christ. That prompted Musk to respond to that, to say that Twitter is a private entity. Acting on its own to suppress free speech isn't a First Amendment violation, but acting under the orders of the government to suppress free speech with no judicial review is. Okay, we already got that. That's weird. The First Amendment guarantees protection of freedom of speech, press, assembly, and religion. Do we need to read the First Amendment? I don't really think so. But now, let's get into the backlash of this release. It's like, so what? Bad faith actors were suppressing information on Twitter. It doesn't really much matter. Yeah, we got some talons of, I would say, hawks just circling around in order to cause a fuss. But these are like, trash birds, like pigeons, just trying to, see if there's any food left in that leftover hot dog wrapper. Some Twitter users pushed back on Musk's claims that Twitter's actions amounted to a First Amendment violation by pointing out that, at the time, former President Trump was in power, not Biden. What does that have to do with anything? Is this that same logic that a black person cannot be racist against a white person because racism is power plus prejudice? And it's like, bruh, doesn't work like that, okay? There's laws that are out there, okay? Individual people can suppress your right to free speech, okay? If you don't want somebody to say a certain word inside the confines of your own abode, you can do that. But on federal land, federal government-owned land, they can't do that, okay? So if you want to go into the center of the Capitol building, okay, of course invited, you don't want to end up spending 3 years in fucking federal clink. If you want to go in there and yell effing N-words at the top of your lungs, nothing's theoretically stopping you. They could come up with a bunch of goofy, charges or just ask you to leave and throw you out because you're being disruptive. They can do that, but when it comes to speech, feel fucking free. You should talk to the Trump administration about it since he was the president at the time. Okay, cool. What would you posit us to do with this information going to the party that is currently out of power? What would you like us to do with that? No, but you're fine with the way that it was, right? Mueller, she wrote, bruh, imagine crafting your entire brand around the Mueller probe only for it to be a big fucking dud. probably also an apt description of the cat piss thinking bitch who runs that account. Just saying, with a number of prominent Twitter users making essentially the same argument. Lawyer Jenna Ellis, who represented the 2020 Trump campaign, pushed back on the idea that just because Biden wasn't in power at the time, the pressure on the Twitter staff from the Biden team can't be considered a First Amendment violation. Lol ripped the replies of, that assume every elected office was Republican controlled in 2020. Government is more than one branch of the office, kids. Based Jenna Ellis take. But again, that's just such a fucking dumpster tier idea. You see indirectly, but she probably didn't read all the different, tweets in the thread, like 10's a lot, okay? Okay, they were putting in, the Biden team was putting in complaints, like, get rid of these posts, and they were like, okay. Depends on how you want to view this situation. That is either working on behalf of the government, a government protected entity, or the would-be government, okay? So there's different shades to this, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it's fucking sus, to say the least, to use technical terms. Trump was right. This was literally the basis of his lawsuit against big tech, Ellis said in a separate tweet. Yep. Ellis was referring to Trump's lawsuit against Twitter, Facebook, Google. The firm suspended his social media accounts over the comments after the January 6th incident. Yeah, that lawsuit that was still pending even after Elon Musk ended up reinstating his Twitter account, and then that entire lawsuit got thrown out because it's like, well, you got your Twitter account back. It's like, bruh, there's so much more to this stuff, but okay, cool. It's kind of like all those election lawsuits. No, we can't touch those. Why? Shut up. Trump said in his post on Truth Social, can't show all of this one. Hopefully they have the best parts cut out, because he makes some claims that are on there that are against YouTube's terms of service. By saying that, you probably know which claims he's going to be making on top of that. The Twitter disclosures should be seen as proof that big tech engaged in actions meant to influence the outcome of the election. Yes. Wow. That's a really big story about Twitter and various forms of government, up to and including, the big F word. Not the rainbow F1, not your conventional aggressive F1, not even F1. You know the one, though. It's right there. You can read it yourself. There's the rest of Trump's stuff. But now, we've seen one attempt to try to discredit this entire report. Let's see what else they can dig up on this one. Former top Intel chief silent after Musk's Twitter disclosures. Yeah, they're just going to go about it with abject silence on this one. It's like, oh, I don't know what happened there. That's crazy. We're going to be going into... Can somebody throw a dart at the board for a place that needs freedom and liberty? Because that would be great. We already got the tanks and the fucking cargo jets. We're ready to go. America's top former intelligence officials are mostly mum Saturday after the release of internal Twitter documents detailing how the post-bombshell revelations were censored by the social media company. Leon Panetta, a former CIA deputy director and defense secretary, John Brennan, a former CIA director, Mike Hayden, former CIA director, Jim Clapper, former director of national intelligence, who all once said the post's reporting had all the classic earmarks of Russian disinformation, declined or did not respond to requests for comment about whether the latest disclosures had changed their opinion. Wow, I'm big shocked by this. Quartet made their allegations as part of an open letter denigrating the Post's reporting as Russian misinformation, which was signed by dozens of other longtime intelligence hands. Oh, and Mitt Romney as well. Our experience makes us deeply suspicious that the Russian government played a significant role in this case, and you wonder why they're so hard on Russia right now. Really does get the old noggin jogging, doesn't it? If we are right. Okay, so if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, they'd invade Iran tomorrow. But why is that enough to just completely discredit a story that is verifiably true, that was offered to multiple different outlets at the time, and the Post was the only one? Them and I think the Daily Mail picked it up at the exact same time. Outside of that, everybody else had access to it. Like the laptop repair guy was going from different places, but all of them were just going, oh, that's against Biden. Oh, I know you like to wear kilts and cabbie hats, but yeah, I think you were a Russian agent, though. Anyways, back to this. This is this is Russia trying to influence how Americans vote in this election, and we believe strongly that Americans need to be aware of this. Yep, And you're liars, and now you're just silent about it. And you're just letting your attack dogs go out there. Left-wing journos attack reporter Matt Taibbi for exposing Musk's Twitter files. Ad hominem attacks. Ad hominem attacks. Mainstream news reporters in lockstep with the Democratic strategist rush to social media to smear. Oh my God. Dem reply guys have been out of work for a minute, so now it's time to go attack somebody. To smear journalist Matt Taibbi is a sad fraud, has released the bombshell report on political censorship. That's funny, because he's getting it direct from the source. So how's he a fraud? It's interesting because he's providing the receipts. He's showing everything and where it comes from. How do you get to sad fraud? Oh, because he's not needing a government bailout in order to have a successful platform that he ended up building himself. Fucking weird. Hey man, if that makes you a sad fraud, he's the saddest and he's the fraudiest, I suppose. Matt Taibbi, what a sad, disgraceful downfall. Daily Beast, bruh. Your editor-in-chief is a fucking pedo enabler, so just fuck off. Columnist and New York Times, of course, contributor Wajahat Ali, selling your soul for the richest white nationalist on earth. What? What are you talking about? The richest white nationalist? Who are you referring to? That's an African-American, you fucking bigot. On Friday, billionaire Elon Musk, who vowed to give the social media giant a free speech overhaul when he bought it last month, released to Taibbi shocking all of his fucking receipts. While Ali was hitting send, Democratic pollster Matt McDermott tweeted a nearly identical put-down. Is this what it's going to be now? Is this what it's going to be? Is this the new NPC update? Is this the new hotness? Matt Taibbi always was and still remains a fraud. Oh, got him. Got him. Doing PR for the richest person in the world should come as no surprise. Yeah, here's your talking points. This is like a fucking Raid's Shadow Legends script, okay? Make sure you hit these 2 points. He's a fraud, white supremacy, rich guys, and he has dubious moral footing. Okay, if you could just go ahead and hit any of those, pick 3 of the 4 points that are there, go for it afterwards. Okay, outside of that, you get free license to do as much. Yuck. The Democrat words spread has been cut and paste. Tweet to NBC's Bang Collins had posted moments before. Imagine throwing it all away to do the PR work of the richest person in the world. Collins wrote it. Humiliating shit. Huh? What are you talking about, bro? Taibbi's been relevant for a hot minute, and this is probably the biggest break he's ever going to get. It's kind of like when Glenn Greenwald exposed the Edward Snowden story. Like that was his launch off point. I mean, come on. Conservatives on Twitter pummeled Collins. Well, that's easy. He's fat and slow. Who has made a specialty of attacking Republicans, and he's on NBC, so literally nobody knows who the fuck he is. You have so much bitterness and contempt against other people, wrote Andy No, based. I hope you find healing in your life. Oh, got him, Andy. Okay. Please keep tweeting. GOP rapid response staffer Jake Schneider told Collins, your meltdown is hilarious. That's better. That's better. Just mock these fuckers. Dozens of journalists, including MSNBC's Chris Hayes. Is that what you call him? That's the guy who's like, I will not report on Donald Trump. He is not a serious candidate in 2016. Bruh. NBC's Brandy Zardanovs that's Russian disinformation right there. I don't know if that's a guy or a girl, so I can't choose the correct pejorative. And the New Republic's Jacob Silverman. I don't know, I'm sure Kanye has something to say about him. And Democrat partisans piled on, drawing the scorn of investigative journalist. Oh, Glenn Greenwald. There we go. Hey, you love to see it. The whole sleazy in-group liberal gang from NBC, Daily Beast, all the censorship advocates who think censorship advocacy is somehow compatible with journalism are furious that the acts of the Democratic Party allies in getting the Biden story censored will be exposed. Meanwhile, Yoel Roth, oy vey, Twitter's former head and trust of whatever, fucking chief censor, when Musk completed his takeover. Yeah, he was supposed to be a part of that balanced council that would figure out if who's going to be allowed back on the platform. And then Elon Musk just put up a poll and said, okay, cool, the unbannings will commence whenever we're done dealing with Apple. Cool. So your job being a part of this council was outsourced to any spurgs that are constantly on Elon's Twitter feed. great stuff. You were really integral.
Publicly posting the names and identities of frontline employees involved in content moderation puts them in harm's way, and is fundamentally unacceptable thing to do.
Roth posted Monday on Mastodon. Fucking yuck. The Twitter likes site, yeah. Between them and Tribal or some shit like that, that's where all the goofy lefties are going. All the people who are big mad, but whatever, man. Have fucking fun, bro. Oh, it looks like what? Yeah. That's dump number 33 within a day. Head of Public Policy Lauren Culbertson received a ghastly letter report from Carl Spazzo of the research firm Net Choice, which had already polled 12 members of Congress, 9 Republicans, 3 Democrats, from the House Judiciary Committee to Representative Judy Chu's office. Oh, man. Oh, I guess that's fundamentally unacceptable. Yeah, that's normally what people who are losing the debate or the conversation end up resorting to moralistic standpoints. That's unacceptable. You can't do that. That's mean. Fuck off and just enjoy the show, because guess what? More shit's supposed to be dropping here shortly, so we'll probably be back tomorrow, unless it's totally and 100% banal, or maybe Elon Musk, he pisses off the wrong people and then ends up getting the Epstein special. As far as I know, Elon Musk is healthy, fine, of sound mind and body, and would never, ever, 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 ever hurt himself. But he is hurting a lot of lefties' feelings, and boy, is it glorious. What a great gift to the world. Just, 3 weeks shy of Christmas. It truly is a beautiful day now, isn't it? So, with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.